Hey, welcome to the channel. In today's adventure we will be doing an oil change on a 2015 Nissan Rogue SL. Stay tuned for a future video where I will be showing how I installed the Horizon Global trailer hitch kit that's a direct bolt on to the existing chassis that would allow this vehicle to pull a small trailer, hauler, or luggage carrier kit. So stay tuned for future video on that. With all of that out of the way, let's get into this one. So I've got all this written down in my book. So I like to do with the synthetic royal purple. We're going to need 4 quarts and a 14mm socket. So we got our 5W30 oil, royal purple, and our oil filter, K&N. So let's get started. Alright, so I'll show you what I got in here. I got the back wheel braced, which I probably should have it going the other way. Probably should have moved it to this side, because if the vehicle's going to move anywhere, it would be forward, not backward. Have it up on ramps, and then we've got all the tools that we're going to need to drain it here. Got our pan down here. Got our plug here. And where? I think our filter is behind this panel here. Find it. Give me a second, but I'll show you guys where it's at. Okay, so looking at the passenger front tire, we have this panel right here, and that is where our oil filter, let's see, can you see it? It's black, it's right there. Touching it right there, that's the oil filter. So you can take these pins out, or you can just prop that open when we get to the point of swapping that out. The first step in this I did not get on camera, and that is just to remove the refill cap on the top of the engine, and then next we're going to move on to removing the oil plug. I like to break the seal with a socket, and after I break the seal with the socket, I like to remove the oil plug with my hand. The main reason for that is if it's hard to control how fast you are unscrewing it, and there's oil on the other side of this, so it's going to spray everywhere or want to come gushing out, so it's much easier to control how fast you're unscrewing it with your hands rather than a socket or a wrench. So now we'll just let this drain. Once it's pretty much drained out, I'll come back with a cloth and wipe down all the oil that's dripped on the outside outside and ran down on the outside of the oil pan. Then screw the oil plug back in, and then with a socket lightly tighten it. It's hard to describe how much I tighten it, a little more than finger tight. So now we're going to move over to unscrewing the oil filter. These oil filters are supposed to be put on hand tight, but after going 5,000 miles and the engine heating and cooling, I'll tell you what, these things can be a real pain in the butt to get off sometimes, especially in such an awkward angle. So a useful tool to have is a oil filter clamp, and that just allows you to get a good grip on it and break the seal. Once the seal is broken, it starts to turn a lot easier. Most of the time, unless you have some stripped out threads, once you break the seal, you can remove it by hand. And these side mount oil filters do tend to put off a lot more oil while you're trying to unscrew it. Not a big fan of the design of it, but haven't had any issues with the motor. So once I get this oil filter screwed off, then we'll also let that drain. And these side mount oil filters do tend to hold a lot of oil, but there still will be some drainage to come out of the oil pan. So we'll let this drain, and then we will get to prepping the oil filter, the replacement oil filter. Now we can begin prepping the new oil filter. And with these side mount oil filters, what they say is you can fill them about halfway up, so that way it helps with already having oil in it when the engine first starts up. I personally don't do that. It's already a pain in the butt to get on with it being a side mount anyway, so I just pour a little bit over the top of it and rub it around on the seal, help get it nice and lubricated, so that way when I do screw it on, it creates a nice seal, and I've never had any issues. Like I said, they say you can actually go ahead and fill these side mounts about halfway. I don't. So now that we have the new oil filter installed and have everything wiped down and clean, now we can move to the top and fill the engine with our Royal Purple motor oil. And it actually is purple. Now with this Royal Purple, it is high quality oil. They say it's actually race car motor oil. It can run 8 to 10,000 miles between oil changes, and I have personally tested this. I have ran mine somewhere around 12,000 miles a few times, and it looks like motor oil when it comes out, but I have had zero issues with the car, and I've done this on multiple vehicles. This motor oil is unlike any motor oil I've ever used in the past, so once I started using this, I honestly haven't turned back. It's a little more expensive, and I do want to clarify, this is not a sponsored video by Royal Purple. I am affiliated with them in no way other than a customer. I purchased this from the local AutoZone. Not sponsored by them either. But their motor oil is a great product. I use it on all my vehicles and have had no issues whatsoever. And like I said, I've actually ran my vehicle over its suggested limit a few times and didn't notice any difference in performance. This stuff is great. It really is. It is said to clean the inside of your engine and help with combustion times. Like, it's got a bunch of additives that are supposed to help your engine run better. From what I can tell, their claims are pretty true. I've been a big fan. And typically after an oil change, I will use the Royal Purple gas tank treatment. And between these two products, I personally feel that both of my vehicles have increased in performance. They just perform better, and from what I can tell. So now that we have our 4 quarts in, get everything cleaned up, wiped down, get our cap reinstalled. And one thing I like to do while I'm here is go ahead and top off any fluids if I notice that any fluids are low. One thing that typically is low between oil changes is windshield wiper fluid, and this is the Rain-X with bug repellent, it's supposed to make bugs that get stuck in your windshield come off a lot easier. I can't tell any difference. It works like normal windshield wiper fluid. And I want to clarify, I'm not sponsored by Rain-X either. So, after we get all the fluids topped off, we'll wipe down any spillage, and then put the oil cap back on, and we'll be done under here. So what I'm doing right now is I'm actually rubbing the oil in a little bit into the plastic. It's already got and I understand it's not good for the plastic. However, if it's already got on one part of the plastic, I want the entire piece of the plastic to age together and not be splotchy or have, like, you know, one spot. So that's my reasoning for that. Plus, it temporarily makes it look better. So now we'll put the oil cap back on. And that completes today's adventure of changing the oil on a 2015 Nissan Rogue. If you found this video helpful, entertaining, educational, click that like, subscribe, or comment down below. It really helps the channel. It really helps keep me motivated, to be honest, to bring you guys content. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next adventure.